We're going to hop in here. We're going to do our first Dynasty pre-draft buy before the NFL draft. I'm going to start over here with Ann first. And who you were looking at here for the first pre-draft buy here? Who do you like? Someone sneaky.
Well, this is, I want to say sneaky, but kind of a big hitter, and it's Garrett Wilson. Still only 23 years old. Had 147 targets his rookie year. He had 168 fourth in the league last year. And that's with Zach Wilson. Was Trevor Siemian throwing a ball? I mean, there was just all kinds of guys.
Yeah.
So looking at that, man, I love seeing somebody progress. That just shows me that I'm a firm believer in targets are earned. And when you're seeing that many targets, I love it. And then to continue to get better and not just say, oh, well, Zach Wilson was throwing a ball. Looking at some of his metrics, he was 10th in air yards, 10th in deep targets, and still came away with 95 receptions, which is the 13th in the league. We also have to remember, too, Brees was still coming back off that ACL, so they didn't really have anything, man. I mean, Aaron Rodgers, how many, was it like a minute whenever he tore his? So I think looking at all that and just the factor of, can you imagine, just think of it, you're a leader, like, you're the host of the show. Something happens to you where we're all just like, do we really want to do a show? Like, you know what I mean?
Right.
Your confidence is kind of just gone.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
So, I mean, I think this year with a guy like Aaron Rodgers, who we hope can stay healthy and is going to be the old Aaron Rodgers or somewhat close to it, I think we could see a really big year for Garrett Wilson. I think some people think this is his ceiling. Looking at his metrics and just seeing everything that he did, I don't think it is, man. They do bring in Mike Williams as well. Who is Mike Williams going to be anything? God only knows, but he's probably better now than Lazard. like they had nobody else, man. And just looking at like his touchdowns, only 3 touchdowns. This is going to be a better offense. This is an offense we kind of want to buy into. Their line got a lot better. They got Tyron Smith, Morgan Moses. I mean, these guys are okay, but like it's going to be better. Defense is pretty good, so like you might not see as many shootout games, but I don't know, man. I've been seeing him go pretty consistently, like middle of the second round. So I'm a buyer for that. I'll get up a couple trades here real quick, and I mean they were kind of crazy too. And I want to ask you guys too, real quick. Brock Bowers, I see him mocked there a lot. I think it still is okay for Garrett Wilson. I definitely do. I can still see them taking a lineman. I mean, they did bring in Tyron, a lot of these guys, but they're older. Mm-hmm. Like they need some young, fresh, good linemen. So I don't even know if Bowers will be there at 10. Like, I don't know.
That's like one of the biggest question marks.
Yeah, like Bowers, I think, is being a little undervalued right now. But anyway, some of these trades, Garrett Wilson for a 24 first. Now, depending where that first is, because I'd still take Marvin Harrison, a couple of these quarterbacks as well. But like asking you guys, where would you put Garrett Wilson with these receivers? Like, so I'm definitely taking Marv, and
I think I'd take Neighbors, but
I think I would take Neighbors, but I think it's closer
it's close.
Yeah.
I'd probably take him over Dunze.
I would too.
So. Oh, I would for sure over Dunze. And I'll tell you, Neighbors, it would be close. I mean, landing spot's going to make a difference for me. I don't know, man. Did you see Neighbors real quick? He was talking about Daniel Jones and the Giants and how he said about like, well, if I go to the Giants, I mean, they got to sort it out basically where they get a better quarterback who can get me the ball. I'm like, boy, yeah. I don't know, man. That's pretty ignorant for you just coming into the league. I mean, it could be confidence.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like, boy, that kind of is a little bit worrisome.
He's not wrong.
No, he's not. But it's like, who says that?
I know what you're saying.
Like Randy Moss back in the early 90s or late 90s.
And look how that worked out.
Yeah.
But going to a couple other ones. These were on the Dynasty Nerds trade browser. Garrett Wilson for Antonio Gibson, a 25 first, second, and third.
Yeah, I'd do that.
Yeah, I'd do that too.
Garrett Wilson for a 24 first, again, where isn't a 25 second? Garrett Wilson for Nico Collins and Marquise Brown.
Easily.
Yeah. Was that? Do you know the date on that? Was that pre-Diggs?
These are all very recent.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just curious whether that would be post-Diggs.
Yeah,
I don't know if post-Diggs that would get it done.
Yeah, I know. Garrett Wilson, Brandon Ayuk for CMC. I'd definitely take Garrett Wilson and Ayuk personally.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I love CMC. He's going to put up points, but I mean, running backs getting a little bit older.
You're overpaying for a running back big time there.
Garrett Wilson for Jordan Addison in a 25-second.
Oh, Garrett Wilson
easy.
easily.
So, like, that's what I'm saying, guys. Like, this is a player that maybe just go check on. Like, the original guy I was going to do was Rashee Rice, and I ran a big thing on Twitter, had a lot of responses, and his value's everywhere. Another receiver I would check on, but I think there's a good buying window here for Garrett Wilson.
Yeah.
I really do. And maybe it gets bigger if they do get Bowers, but man, I think he's going to end up getting hyped up again. I think a lot of people are disappointed because a lot of people put a lot of belief in stock that he would continue to rise here, with Aaron Rodgers. And I definitely think he would have if he would have had Aaron Rodgers. So another thing as well that we've seen a lot with Garrett Wilson too is the double coverage. Like I seen that a lot watching any kind of Jets games, that anything, especially like 10 yards and down, who else they have to worry about?
Yeah, they knew he was getting the ball.
Yeah, so you get him in one-on-one situations, man. I think he could smash this year.
Yeah, and see, that's just it. Like, I look at him like right now is the perfect time because everyone's so hyped up on 2024. And I'm like you guys, I would much rather have Garrett Wilson than Rome Odunze.
Yeah, and I like Odunze.
Yeah, I do. And it's not a knock against him, but like, we seen Wilson last year, like it was his time, and so many people valued him here, and the air come out of the balloon. And now it's the time to strike, because we always talk about Dynasty being a game of opportunity, and now is an opportunity.
I feel like he's like, obviously his game's much different than Michael Pittman, but we really pounded the table for Michael Pittman. It was like, hey, this guy's undervalued. Like, he's so good. But like, I feel like with Garrett Wilson, it's starting to kind of become that because people are just disappointed. But it might be a little bit bigger of a price tag than what Pittman was. But yeah, man, I think I'd put out offers.
Oh, I definitely would. And I think, now it's more realistic. Last year, it was so unrealistic with him. He was kind of the apple of the eye of the Dynasty community. And like I said, whenever like something happens, it's so amazing how people turn their backs on players, so now would be a good time.
Yeah. And you might even get it like when, we always say picks are very, very high when they're on the clock. It's their peak value. You're on the clock and you want to make that move. You might get plus, like if you give up like a Rome Odunze. You might get Garrett Wilson and then throw in a piece you might believe. Like if it's I don't know if anybody has this guy, but like a Khalil Shakir or a Curtis Samuel, whatever side you want to go on. Hell, you might even get Rashee Rice if Kansas City brings in somebody. Say they draft Adonai Mitchell. You might get Rashee Rice and Garrett Wilson. I would love that move. So.
Yeah, definitely, man. And the thing is, too, you got to realize with Garrett Wilson, this division's gotten a lot weaker with the Bills being depleted. New England's New England. They're kind of definitely in a full-scale rebuild. And Miami's kind of on the edge. Like, I see Miami's clock getting a lot shorter.
They brought in a backup quarterback, too, behind Rodgers. I cannot think of who it was.
For the Jets.
Yeah.
Boyle?
No, it was somebody. It was actually, I think, decent.
It wasn't Jameis because he went to Cleveland.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that never hurts either if you have an insurance policy.
And I think they really like kind of understood like how bad they messed up, because that was a big thing, man. Like they're right there. Oh, Tyrod Taylor. I mean, nothing special, but somebody that can actually win you a damn game.
Right.
Because that was something they really messed up on last year. Like you got Zach Wilson behind Rodgers. Like, it would have been nice if they could have brought in a Minshew or somebody. Look what Minshew, they almost took Colts to a playoff. So it's nothing like I'm in love with Minshew, but he's a good backup.
Serviceable, yeah.
Yeah.
And never hurts having an insurance policy like that either. But yeah, I love the Garrett Wilson buy. Like I said, he's being so kind of under the radar right now, but I think this 24 class has a lot to do with it.
Yeah.
So I really think right now is a great time if you're trying to get on him. Some of them trades, man, that's not even close to me.